Good morning. Tropical update, Friday, July 9th, 2010. Tropics pretty quiet today, which is good news. We were watching the possibility for some subtropical development here off the East Coast. That is not going to happen. You can see the system starting to get stretched out, and it's going to move off to the north. It's going to combine with this frontal system here that's slowly moving east, and this is going to bring a lot of rainfall across the northeast this weekend. Rob Guarino will be having some video blogs, and he'll be highlighting that rainfall for the weekend. We had Tropical Depression 2 that came ashore across the southeast Texas, Mexico coast here. Still bringing a lot of rain in this Rio Grande Valley here. Some historic flooding that's going on there. Some tragic news down there. We'll be hearing a lot of stories out of that area this weekend. The good news is this big high pressure system is starting to move west, and it's going to be drying out Texas later this weekend into all next week. It's going to be pretty dry across Texas, so that'll give them a chance to dry out, and some pretty good news there. But the Rio Grande River is going to continue to rise over the weekend, and you'll be hearing some stories out of that area, I'm pretty sure, over the weekend. Quick look at the central Atlantic. Two tropical waves, one located right about near 60, 65, 70 west. Another one approaching the southern Windward Islands here. Nothing going to develop out of these right now, but we'll have to watch those as they get into the Western Caribbean. I'm going to show you that some of the models are starting to build up some energy there again in the Western Caribbean, and that's going to be our focus for possible development next week. That'll be the area to watch. So we'll have to watch these as they proceed into the Western Caribbean to see if they will develop. Upper level low here, a lot of wind shear through this area, so no development right now in this area. And tropical wave moving off the African coast. You're starting to see them start. These ITCZ is starting to lift north, which is normal for this time of year, so we're starting to see these tropical waves come off a little farther north, and that's what we need for development. Once they get to be about 10 north and 10 degrees north and a little north of there. So that's we'll start focusing on the Cape Verde season towards the end of this month and the beginning of August. So you can see the atmosphere, everything's starting to change here. And again, we'll be watching for development there towards the end of July, beginning of August. And again, quickly with the wind shear map. You always follow these arrows here showing the stronger shear and then the higher number. So you see a band of 30 knot shear running right like this, right through the Caribbean. This is good news. If you don't want development, this is exactly what you want to see, right like this. Again, Western Caribbean next week. Looks like shear is going to lower again in this area. Some of the models have development on the Atlantic side, on the Caribbean side, and some have development on the Eastern Pacific side. So we'll have to watch this entire area right in here next week for possible development. And here's my friend, the Euro model. Boy, this model's been spot on so far this early season. I like to see that. And here again, showing you some low pressure developing in the Southwest Caribbean on Monday. And again, this is where we're going to have to watch. The good news is, big, strong, high pressure anchored, our protector yet again. And it's looking even a little stronger this time, so it's going to be hard to really even get this up into the Gulf. That's why I'm thinking maybe development will be even on the Eastern Pacific side this time. But if anything does develop, it's going to move west-northwest, so again, the focus will be right in this area. A lot of the questions I get is about the AB high, about the Azore Bermuda high, the big high pressure there that's been anchored over the East Coast and Southeast for the beginning of this summer. And one of the indicators is the NAO. If we have a persistent negative NAO, that means more landfalling hurricanes across the United States. A little weaker high tends to bring systems towards the U.S. So far we've seen the NAO pretty positive through most of the early summer. You could see here, this is most of June right in here, and it was mostly positive. We had a little dip, as you remember, right before 4th of July there, big trough across the East Coast. The high weakened a little bit, but then so far this most of July we've had positive. And that has created real strong high pressure, which has really protected the northern Gulf Coast in Florida for any of these storms sneaking north. Looks like the indications with the models are to start dipping it more into the negative range. We'll have to see if that verifies. If it does, then that high pressure may weaken a little bit towards the middle to the end of July. So that's an indicator to see what will happen there and where the storms will go. And then last but not least, another indicator of development in the tropics is the MJO, the Madden-Julian Oscillation. Anything in green is upward motion, which is good for development of tropical systems. And you can see we'll be in the green through most of the tropical Atlantic here in the main development region here at least through the middle of July. So still favorable conditions, especially in that Western Caribbean area, and we're definitely going to have to watch that the next week or two for development. Some indications are that we'll be in a downward trend towards the end of July. We'll have to see if that verifies. But definitely for the next week or two, still pretty favorable conditions in the tropical Atlantic there. That's it for today. Thanks again for listening. I really appreciate it. Any questions, comments can be directed into my blog. And I'll have another update for you guys sometime tomorrow. Have a great day and have a nice weekend.